Hi, good morning. This morning we have Zakiya Halls, who's a virtual assistant, and you have Danielle Morris here. I'm a IT professional by day and a Spanish tutor by night, evening night. So we just gotta have a little conversation and to see how what we do could intersect, if they do at all. So join us. So,
Hi.
mhm.
So how are you, Danielle?
Good, good. I'm kind of nervous about, this video, but we can do it.
Yes.
All
Right.
right.
So
Yeah,
yes.
so tell me how long have you been doing this? And I'll ask other questions as we go on.
Okay. So virtual assistant, I've been doing it for a little more than a year, plenty more than a year. But I have been in the administrative field before. I feel like I have like 15 years service
Yeah,
within.
about 15, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say are the benefits, if any, of being a virtual assistant as opposed to working in an office?
Well, flexibility, definitely. You can work virtually anytime. So depending on your client's needs, you could probably wake up 2 o'clock in the morning and work. You could work 10 o'clock in the day. So you have flexibility of time. You also have a lot of time to focus on just work.
Okay,
Yeah.
no distractions.
Without distractions. Yeah. Um, and you good work-life balance. So,
Mm-hmm.
um you could still meet your family's needs as best as possible.
All right.
Yeah.
I was thinking about no traffic. You didn't
No,
mention that.
no job there. Well,
Mhm.
not having to leave home, I guess that is indeed a benefit, but sometimes, you crave a little interaction with others. So, but yes, definitely no traffic is a benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the benefits and when we leave home we tend to spend more money. So
Yeah.
yeah, right. So you tend
Yeah.
to save more or not spend spontaneously
Yeah.
because you don't have anywhere to go.
Well, for me, that doesn't really happen because you drop off the child and you go to work and then you go get them and it's like you have to hurry to, get home. So that doesn't happen for me.
So you don't have any time
As
for
it goes straight to
spontaneous
home.
spending.
Yeah, usually it's just straight home
Yeah.
unless I know I need to get something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what what else can you tell us about? Okay, so do you think a virtual assistant can help somebody like me, like on my side hustle, my evening type
Yes, I think so. Some because you also have a daytime job, you probably need additional help.
of
Of
course,
course,
yeah.
yeah. Of course, I don't think if you have a small number of students, you should probably. I feel like you just should just grind it out a little bit to accomplish. But if you have
Yeah,
if you have
sizable.
larger numbers and you need help, probably to communicate with your clients, probably a little bit of bookkeeping, whatever. Yeah, you can get a virtual assistant.
Yeah,
So,
right.
what about
Hmm.
being a Spanish tutor? How is that?
Oh, I love
I can
it.
imagine.
Yeah, it is something, language is something that I noticed that I liked since I was a teenager. And when I wanted to study it, my father told me that was a hobby. So even though I really liked it, I kept it in the back of my head that that is a hobby, and I never thought that, I could do or I should try to do something serious with it. And but over the years, I would help family members or neighbors, try to teach them when I'm out. Like for example, there were times when I'd be out of school, like between secondary school and university. And I just decided, okay, I'm going to teach a neighbor's child, right? Or a cousin or whoever, right?
Yeah.
Then between, I believe it was 2008 to 2010, we started to go to home. Um, and my main goal really was to teach Spanish, but again, I felt as it wasn't important. So I went under the guise of we're going to teach them maths, English, and Spanish. So my husband was more doing the maths, and I was doing the English and Spanish, but was the Spanish I really wanted to do. So funny that one of these students, well, is an adult now, right? But when he was there, um, just now. So this happened from 2008 to 2010, right?
Yeah.
And last year he contacted me and he said, Miss, you still teach Spanish? I said, yeah. So we started to do classes, right? And the other day now, I was telling him, both Timothy and I, my husband and I studied IT. And he was so shocked. He could not believe that is IT I did.
Yeah.
And, like, I guess he is associated me with
With Spanish, yeah.
Spanish. Yeah, so that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, what else you want to tell us about being a virtual assistant? Mhm.
Okay, so um it is fulfilling to help people accomplish, right? So just knowing you're part of somebody's success, so to speak,
Yes.
is very fulfilling. The when you think about a business and operations usually take front and center, but there are so many things that goes on in the background that need to get handled.
Right.
So that's where administrative things come in, and that's where I can help.
Right.
So I feel like I always say I feel like administration has been something that I was born with. I just don't know how I know to do the things, but yeah.
Right.
So I'm very much at home in that area.
In that area, yeah. Yeah, that's good. I had a question and it's just like, what? Oh my gosh. Yeah, so let me see. Do you think that knowing some Spanish, or you're not ready to serve that area, do you think knowing some Spanish would help you to get like more clients, like probably clients who can't speak English properly, or what do you think about that?
Probably will. I feel like for a very long time in my life I have been wanting to. I just never did. When I used to work at the university, the Center for Language Learning, they used to offer Spanish during what different languages during lunchtime.
For staff.
Yeah, for staff
Okay.
and students as well.
Okay.
And I'm always saying I'll go, but I never did.
Oh,
But
right.
I do see the need to learn another language just for the fun of it, but in particular Spanish,
Right.
because now we have a lot of Venezuelans in our country. And because I think Spanish is probably the next popular language after English, if not more popular. I don't know which one more
English
popular.
and Spanish.
Okay, good. And then too, sometimes you see Spanish speakers and they can speak English. A lot of other non-English speakers willing to learn English, but a little we English speakers not really so into
sometimes.
Yeah.
You have some trainees that are interested in, but I know, for example, this Venezuelan lady, and she was saying how she find that persons are impatient with her. So like when she's taking long to say something in English, it's like so she feels as though they are not receiving like this, welcoming attitude. It's as though people I believe her. Some people are really like that. And some people some people like me, immediate people like me, right? And it's like you're just looking foreign, you're sounding foreign, an accent, trying to figure out where you come from. So I give you an example. I just remember one time I was at work. Well, two things happened at work, two different things, right? And there was this lady, just from her accent, she was speaking English, just from her accent, I knew somebody from Brazil. I know somebody from Brazil. So I asked her, I said, are you from Brazil? She said yes, and she smiled. So then I say, "Como vai você?" which is how are you? And it was in a big smile. Yeah. Well, of course, I don't know that much in Portuguese, right?
Yeah.
And then there was another time this Venezuelan person came to do a transaction and he was speaking English. I was understanding the English was coming out of his mouth, but I wasn't getting the sense of what it is he really wanted to do. So I just said, give me a minute. And I went around from behind the glass counter and I went around and I met him. And so I started to speak to him in Spanish. And quickly we figured out what it is he needed to get done, right? In that scenario, another thing to note is when you learn another language, it kind of slows you down in your other language.
Okay.
So there was another guy that was speaking to him and he was just speeding down the place with his Spanish, right?
Yeah.
And my mind's like, he probably don't know English. right? Because the other one wasn't so rushed.
Yes.
There are times when you know the person just trying to speak extra slow for you
to understand.
But I don't think the one I was speaking to, I don't think it's that he would, but that other one is like, whew, breathe. Yeah.
And I really I find Spanish speakers speak really fast, but sometimes they say we speak fast. And
yeah, it's just because you don't know it, it
yeah.
sounds same.
Yeah.
But that man, he was like, bro. So you know, yeah, so it's really fun to be able to meet people where where they are there in a foreign country, and it's beneficial to you,
Yeah.
because I think they would have the advantage. Let's say things settle long in a way for them, they would have the advantage of knowing both English and Spanish in terms of the job opportunities and so on. So yeah, um, yeah, this is a little bit new for us. So kind of excuse the little pauses sometimes, you know. But there were so many questions we had last time.
So tell us about the day-to-day being a tutor.
Okay, right. So it is challenging, even though I like it. So I have one particular student that I felt as though I don't want to say like too many identifiable things, right? But um was rejecting the whole process, right? Okay. And sometimes you would ask them something and it's like without even thinking, it's like right away, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, what? And then sometimes we'd be doing something for a while and then come back and it's like, but honestly, I find the attitude has changed now, and I'm not too sure if it is big. I'm not too sure what has changed the attitude, right? But the child is more receptive. We even started doing some CXC comprehension passages, and I find he's doing good.
Okay.
You know, he's doing good now. And then on the other spectrum now, the same student, the same child that was at the home, yeah, as an adult now, that is my best class because it's like questions. Sometimes it will challenge you because I feel very comfortable teaching the secondary school students because it's like nothing you're going to ask me that you'll need to know is going to be challenging, right? Um, but for adults now, it's like they might want to know more advanced things. And so I have a little concern because I don't have a native level. I could communicate. You can drop me in Venezuela, you can drop me wherever, and I can handle my stories. I had situations where I had to do that in Colombia and so on. Yeah. To explain myself, you know, to get in or out of a situation or whatever. But yeah, it's sometimes he would ask things and I would tell him, I say, this is how I would say it. But if it is you say something this way, once somebody understands what you say and they know that's not how they would say, they would just correct you and that's fine. Yeah. Because we don't have a native, I don't have a native level. To acquire a native level, you have to spend time in that country. For me, I think 1 to 3 months would work, but maybe for somebody who had no experience with the language at all, maybe about 6 months to a year or so to really get that native level, because there are things that we would say. I'll give you an example. I think I told you this one last time, right? So I did a Spanish puzzle book recently, and I had asked a teacher to look through it, you know, because you don't see your own errors, right? And I had a note about I I make important decisions, right? But in Spanish, how you say that? You use the verb to take. So I take important decisions, right? Okay. So one of her notes was she used hago, which is from the verb to make. Yeah. So it's like I make hago decisiones importantes, right? But in my mind, I know you say toma decisiones, which is to take decisions. So I take important decisions. So tomo decisiones importantes, right? And when she did that, because in my mind, it's like, you teaching this for years, right? So I just feel as though, okay, maybe I could. So then I asked her when he's and she's like, no, it's no matter. Yeah. Right. And that is, it's understandable because in your mind, unless you have like a native contact, you would just be translating stuff sometimes. And translating stuff always will not be what it is. Yeah. So you have something like, when we say something is really expensive, we say it costs an arm and a leg. But in Spanish, you see an eye from your face. Okay. So you imagine you translate an arm and a leg, they want to know what's going on, you know? Yes.
So, and I'm hearing you saying that, and I'm thinking about there's a Spanish speaker in my children's class.
Oh,
And the
really?
mother, yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking about when I hear the mother speak, sometimes she would say things probably how they will say
Right,
it.
right. And it sounds
Yeah,
strange.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
So when you did Spanish in school, what do you think about it?
I did like it a bit. I think my challenge with Spanish in school was more um writing
Mhm.
because I feel like I am not a good speller. So to remember the spelling words and those kind of things. More writing, but I could still remember some
Some
of the things
countries.
that I learned from in
Okay.
school. Yeah. I could remember the words. Yeah.
Yeah, but so you say spelling, right?
Hmm.
I tell my students all the time that reading and spelling in Spanish is super easy because
Okay.
English is a language that has borrowed from so many different languages so that you have sight words. And what they mean by sight word, it means that you have to look at it and not you cannot pronounce it, you
Yeah.
cannot sound it out. So you just have to know what it is, right? You
Hmm.
don't really have that in Spanish.
Okay.
So what you see is what you get. And if it kind of goes against whatever, there's a kind of specific rule to know,
Yeah.
so but also we take things for granted. So for example, C, right, in English, C has two different sounds. The C has the k sound,
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah.
And the same thing in Spanish. When it's followed by A, O, and U, it's a k song. And if
Okay.
it's followed by E and I, it's a s song. So it's the
Okay.
same thing from even in the G, but we don't think about it because
Yeah.
we know it so yeah, well. The G has two songs, it has the G and the J, and
Yeah.
it depends on what letter is
Yes.
next. And it follows the same thing in Spanish.
Okay. But that's it. But I don't know if I was taught that in Spanish.
I don't feel we
Like
I don't
a
feel
teacher
so.
ever told us that, right? I
I don't
feel
feel
like,
so.
yeah. So probably if somebody would have said that, like if your teacher would have said, this is a simple way to,
Yeah,
yeah,
because I feel the method was more translation, grammar
yeah,
translation. That is one of the ways in which you teach language. And I think it's useful for persons who are studying theology, for example, so that they can look at the Hebrew or the Greek and be able to tell you what it is, right?
yeah.
But it's not for them to be able to speak and carry on a conversation. So I think back then it was more on the grammar approach.
Okay.
Because even there was a Spanish teacher I met at a trip I used to go to. And he was like, something I said to him, and he was like, he can't speak Spanish, but he was a teacher for years.
Okay.
And I just found that was real strange,
Yeah.
right? And it's because you didn't have to, another example to emphasize that the way that you learn it, it's you can be able to read it and understand but you cannot speak it.
Yeah.
I went with my aunt to Venezuela in 2009, and one day she said, teach me some Spanish. So I wrote down a list of words that I felt were basic words that she's like, I know what it is. And she was like probably in her late 50s or 60s. At that time. So she remembered that from way back when.
Yeah.
So it's this grammar. I look at the words and I can recognize it, I can read it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's one. Um, I think I will be talking about Spanish too much. Let's go back into um virtual assistants. What is the best part of the being a virtual assistant? Do you prefer like to do like the weekend, or is it more, well, I don't know what else you could do, right? But
Yeah.
what
So all the parts seem fine to me. So it could be like bookkeeping or communicating with the customer,
okay.
or even things like creating documents, yeah. A little payroll on the bookkeeping and those kind of things. All the parts are good parts. I don't have a problem with anything to say. Um,
I think you told me you did something maybe and you did some logo, launch
yeah,
a head
yeah.
job letter, just
Yeah, it
oh,
was
what?
letterhead, right?
Letterhead.
So like a little graphic design. So of course I have things like Canva, post on my board so you can just into those things and right. But I don't feel comfortable with graphic design because it for me it's not time consuming.
Yes,
And
it
yes,
is.
why you get a template, you still want the things to look
Same generic.
see, right. So yeah, to tap into skills that I don't necessarily have to make it look a little more unique and whatnot. But of course, for small things, I'm willing to still try. I make a lot of flyers and stuff on Canva.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think maybe, I don't know if you have that already, right? Maybe you should have like a group of virtual assistants, either in Trinidad or in the Caribbean or whatever, so that you all can probably pass projects between each other. I don't know if that's something that you can think about.
That way people will focus on
What they, right, yeah.
what they specialize in.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because, like, in terms of somebody might be strong with social media, somebody might be strong with bookkeeping, whatnot. So, the question of who.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So
right.
Instead of you trying to figure out
Everything for yourself.
Get somebody who's already strong in it. So,
yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about is that it takes some time because I myself as well do not think I am good with graphics. But to make my slides for class, I've been doing it for years.
Yes.
So even though I know I'm not at the level where maybe somebody who studied graphic arts, I'm not at that level, but I still improve a lot because I am constantly using it to make the slides that I have for class look interesting and
Okay.
So
what's actually
I use Canva.
Okay. Yeah.
I
I
use
actually love Canva.
So even the adults said, he was like this, you do all those things. Like, you fit all of these like, yeah, you really had to like this, Because I'm like span 101, span 102, span 103, span 2 or something, 3 or something else. So, so yeah. That's
So I guess and those are our fields using the tools that are available to us would make life easier. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, those.
So you say you prefer to do secondary school.
Yeah, I prefer
Students.
why? Because I'm more comfortable with them because I feel as though the opportunities for me to feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know, is very small.
Okay.
That's why.
Yes.
Which is probably not the best thing, right? Because you could always stretch, you could always learn. So I'm going to Panama this year. Yay. I have not traveled in so many years. The last time I traveled was 2011.
Okay.
No, 2012.
Okay.
We went to New York in 2012, December. We came back January 2013, and that was the last.
Yes.
Because you have children, and then children would be the travel. So I'm like, you know what? Life is short, and I am going to do it. The intention is to get a few persons who would come along for the trip for the purpose of strengthening their language, or even if it's not that strong already, to have the opportunity where they bombarded with it.
Yes.
Right? But if nobody express any interest, I am just fine to just do that for myself. I hear Panama has nice shopping.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, but that's not my thing. I could go there and not buy like clothes or whatever. I'm fine. I would just love to just interact and put it into use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And experience the culture. Yeah. I like that.
They have some nice beaches, but I never found a pizza to go to the beaches. Sandblast. Oh gosh. I was like, there's a video the other day. It looks so beautiful. I was like, yeah, so beautiful. Like nice, like this one in my background. Nice, I feel it. It's nice. It's like, whoa, that's a real place.
Yeah. But a lot of people go into Panama more frequently now. So Panama and is it Mexico? I feel like a lot of people go.
I feel so. I think Sunny Bang, I go to Mexico sometime. So, you live in my life.
So probably you might have a market with older people.
Yeah, for sure. Because I don't want to carry babies and then have to be minding children in a strange country, So when I say babies,
Yes. Once you carry a child, regardless of age, you have to be looking out for them.
Yeah, extra. Yeah, I really wanted to go to Colombia instead, but that's another story for another day. I went to Colombia once and I loved it. Everybody was like, you alone go in Colombia, like if they feel it's so dangerous, drugs and whatever. I didn't see any drugs when I went to Colombia. But I tell you, when I was coming back to the airport, I had enough fitted jeans and those immigration officers rubbed me down like if I had on something baggy. It's like, you all see the tunnel squeeze? No, I was thinking that. I didn't say anything, right? They proper rubbed me down. I was like, but I have on a fitted jeans. So I guess in the mind, people coming from Colombia, I don't know.
I think I remember when you went and another friend was like, yo, let's pray for the dealer. I remember days. I think you were worried, huh?
Everybody was saying you go by yourself, and then eventually, my husband decided, okay, okay, well, you'll come. Because I think I got annoyed at him because I was like, you don't want to go, okay, fine. But everybody I tell that I'm going to Colombia to ask him if I go by myself.
Yeah.
Like if we're
Yeah.
to there. So eventually he came. He came a few days after and he left before me because I had more vacation there. But
Yes.
it was real nice. And it's super well, it was cold.
Yeah.
So when you speak, you're seeing like the frosting or the
Okay.
mist in
Yeah.
front of your mountains and stuff.
Yeah.
And the prices were really good. I could remember I got our glasses for like around 400 TT. A good glasses,
Yes.
tested and everything. But they have blocks and blocks of glasses stores right next to each other.
Okay. Yeah. So competitive.
Blocks.
Yeah.
Every single store next to each other is just glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was nice. Yeah. So you said you've been doing this a year and a half and you prefer this to the office, right?
I do. I do.
Right.
Yes.
You have any like your best client you want to talk about, or okay, basically like you want to let persons know what is your ideal client gonna look like. So if perhaps somebody is looking at this, they can say, okay, I fit into this category. I could probably try to get my services.
Okay. So ideal client, I guess anybody who wants help, but of course you're just not going to. I feel like a trial period, like when you meet up with somebody, you do a trial period, you find out their needs and you see how best you can meet it. Do a little trial period to see how you're meshing with this person. But because it's basically routine things, it's nothing too difficult, right? And everything have a conversation.
Right. So let me ask you specific questions now, right? Because you see everybody, right? So is it that you work with male clients, female clients across the board?
So far, yes.
Right. So you work with male and female entrepreneurs, right?
Yes.
So are you working with, or it doesn't matter to you at this point? Okay, are you only doing um performing these services for persons who have, let's say, a registered business, or they have to have a registered company, or it doesn't matter if they haven't done that stuff as yet?
It don't matter to me. I have my first client do not have a registered business. They
Right, they're
want to,
gonna
but
do
they
it.
haven't gotten there
Right,
yet,
yeah.
right? But it it doesn't really affect me in a which way
Yeah.
at this time. So I'm willing to work with anybody right now.
Right, you have some benefits to register it, right? But it
Yes,
doesn't.
yes, of course, yeah.
I know. So if we could try to encourage them to, that'll be good.
It's a conversation we have from time to time. I think it's a matter of just they making the time to get that
Yeah,
done. Yeah,
there's be so much things to do, huh?
yeah.
So much things to do. So I remember, okay, so what happened is we recorded a few weeks ago, and at the end of it all, we had no audio. So we have to do this, we have to
Yes.
do this over, right?
And I think that last time we did really well. I
Yeah,
think so, yeah.
honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
I prefer the other one. Oh gosh. Yeah, but she was asking me, Zakiya was asking me about her son. That just came back into her mind. How is he in the classes, right? If he
Yeah.
turns on his camera and so on, right? Because I was saying when the camera is on, you can see the confusion on somebody's face, even if they don't want to say it to you, right?
Yes.
Also you can see if they're distracted because sometimes the camera is off and you're talking, you feel the student is there and they carrying on some conversation somewhere else, right? Obviously, when you ask them a question, they would know what
Yeah.
the answer is. So yeah, she had asked me, so what does he do? Yeah, he has his camera off a lot of times, but if it is I want it on, sometimes I would ask them to like, I want to see you doing a
Yes.
particular
Yes.
thing. But now we transition to face, so we don't have issue there.
So that well, saying that reminds me, what are some of the challenges you would face as being online?
Yeah. So one, some students do not like to keep their camera on. And honestly, I don't make a fuss about it again.
Oh,
Okay, that's
yes.
funny thing. I find it is funny, right? My adult student, he said, Miss, your camera no on and on. I'm not sure if you realize, but his cameras be off all the time. His cameras be off all the time. Twice he did that. He said, Miss, your camera off. I don't know if it is, I was like, yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And my mind is like, your camera off. Yeah, but most times he is engaged. And I like that he said just, Miss, give me a little second or something like that. But with the younger ones, they would start talking to the parents or sibling, whoever, mute, and you have no idea what's going on. And then when you call them, like they don't know. And it's like, but I just told you, right?
Yeah.
Then I have one, he like, I don't know. He would just be carrying on conversation. He even mutes, carrying on conversation with whoever, and I just have to mute.
Yeah.
So that's some of the challenges you would have.
Distractions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. What I like though, it's so if it is I try to give everybody opportunity to speak, right? Because I don't think that is something that is emphasized in school. And I think if you say it and it will you remember it better.
Yeah.
So on my screen you would see who is first, second, third. So I use that, okay. So I know I ask this person, so it's kind of easy for me to
okay.
but I like the face to face though.
Okay.
I like the face to face because I can have the two of them doing two different things. So so for example, I had Ken, he was doing one thing and I had the other one writing on the whiteboard. Write this. So I wrote down some verbs on the board and I said, I want you to write down I am doing this thing. So the ing is ando for AR verbs. So cantar is to sing, cantando is singing. So estoy cantando. Estoy hablando. Hablar is to speak. I am speaking. Write down the whole list. So then that summer is like, no, this is not an ER verb here. Because she put ando for one of the ER verbs. I was like, no, it's iendo.
Yes.
And she rubbed it off and thing. And so whilst this other one was doing something because can't pick that up.
Yes.
So it don't make sense. I have both of them punishing. I want to say doing the same thing and you get it, right?
Right.
But it have other things that she got and he was like struggling with. But she's very shy.
Yeah.
So like she taught me the kindness. And she have this kind of quizzical look on her face. She want to say that. I was like, say the wrong thing, no problem. We'll correct it, you know?
Yeah.
Just say the wrong thing or just say whatever. She would say things. And sometimes she right,
Earlier you said you had a student and you saw the change from not knowing anything. I think when students see their grades improve the attitude because with
as you say that he showed me his grade,
Yeah.
He came and he said, look at mom.
Right.
Yeah.
He was so excited when he saw that course.
Yeah. But he had changed it because I think one time I asked you the earlies about it, but you say he liked it as much as he could like
Spanish,
something like that, right? But then the other day now, maybe 3 classes ago, he was like, oh, he wish he had choose Spanish for CXC. And my mind, no, I didn't do that. Right? But my mind was like, what? That's not what your mother said. So which means I felt as though the attitude changed, you know?
Yes.
So it does be real exciting.
Right. So I feel because to the teaching method is different from school because I don't think my son like Spanish and his Spanish teacher at all.
What does it No, so, but he puts us across as so he feel the teacher don't like him. That's how he says.
Teenagers, nobody like them, right?
Yeah.
So I don't take that on, but I feel like even when I think about my experience, the teaching method is different from what you do. So a lot of times we go to Spanish class, and I remember we used to do a lot of verbs, and you will write out male, female.
That would be the nouns.
Nouns.
Yeah, nouns.
Okay, male, female, they, we, something like that. You have any idea what we're talking about?
Right. So it is the conjugation of verbs, but the male, female is the third person. So for example, we say he or she.
Yeah.
He or she, or we would say it's in English, but they don't have it. They have he, she, or usted.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe it's that.
Probably is that. Yeah. So I remember doing that, but I mean, I still don't know if I
how to
learn anything real. I might just remember the words and whatnot, but how to construct a sentence and all those kinds of things, I don't know if I have any recollection of that, right? So I feel like a teaching method is different and probably more interesting than what they actually learning in school. So they probably see in Spanish in a different light now as opposed to what
something alive.
Yeah.
Something alive. Something I wanted to say. I want to say that this virtual assistant type thing is a brave move, I would say. It's a brave move that, you're thinking, oh well, I have to go through traffic every day. Oh, I have to, do this thing that you really don't have to.
Yeah. Yes, brave, but I still think it's simple too, right? Because I wanted to be home and I also want to make money. I'm
Right.
just thinking, how?
Are you
And the
married
truth is,
to?
I looked at other things to do, right? But then this kind of fell into my lap. So I say, why not embrace something that you're so comfortable with?
Doing, yeah,
Yeah,
because you already have the experience of
yeah,
office, the years of being in the office.
yes.
And
And
so,
it also gives you time to do other things, right? So even though like I have other interests, I like to sew. I don't know, I don't know if I want to say I like to sew,
yes,
but
yes.
I could sew and sometimes I'm happy doing it. But
Did you make Kiesi clothes that she had on?
yes, they
I
did.
liked it so
Yeah,
much.
I did.
I liked it
Yeah.
so much. I was like, yeah.
I recently made a blazer. Wanted to see it. I like
For,
it so
for
much.
her?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I do like sewing, but I feel like because probably I'm a little bit timid about it. I don't want
Right.
to do it for
For
people to
people,
see,
right.
and it gives me anxiety. So even while I'm sewing for KSC, I'm making her try it on a million times. So
Mm,
imagine if I'm sewing for you, I can't get you to try on something
right.
right.
But you
And
have a dress form?
I do, but
Right. So
sometimes
then
it's
if it is you make it a
no,
right
not a
size, then
dress form. No, not a dress form. I don't have a dress form.
right.
But of course, I could take your measurements and I would probably do um a draft and a block for
I
you.
know, but if you do the dress form, it will be better because you actually have like these the
Yeah,
shape of the person
yes.
to try it on that. So maybe you could, and
Probably
that's
I
like
should get a dress
expensive.
form.
Yeah.
But I always wonder about this, right? Like because we segue to so how seamstresses know, like because they just take a measurement, so something for you, you come and you probably do a fit. Some people, you go and you fit perfect. I feel like
That's some experience.
I
That's
guess
some
so.
experience. You didn't
Yeah.
start so like donkey years ago,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But you're still good because to me, I always see that I'm a ratch sewer, right? I would sew things by ratch method. And therefore, you say you timid to sew for people. I can't sew for people. I can do little things for them children
Yes.
and for myself, you know.
Yeah. So I guess, like I said earlier, quality of work-life balance. So you work some, you could play some, you could hobby some, that's what virtual assistant offer you that opportunity. So of course I could complete a task and then I could do full time to sewing, cooking, whatever.
What's your process to get a client on to like get a client to start working with a client? What's your process like?
Right. So recently I started talking more about what I do. In the past, some people ask me, what you do? And I just say, I'm home.
Yeah.
Getting that. So now I'm telling everybody that I'm a virtual assistant. Hopefully, people will remember me when they have needs and that kind of thing. So when somebody express interest, I reach out to them. We have a conversation about their needs and we come up with a plan about how we're going to proceed. Um, I remember my first client, he wanted customer communication. He wanted it was a contractor. He's a contractor, and so he wanted somebody to also assist with preparing I can't remember that like preparing. I can't remember the word they used.
Contract, I don't know.
Not contract. Oh gosh, an estimate,
Okay.
right? So that and just communicating with clients, prepare the estimate, email it to them, probably follow up on those kinds of things. We talk about that. He needed bookkeeping. We spoke about all those things. And we came up with a plan. This is what we'll do, and that kind of thing. After that, we did I paid for my contract and Simon, voila, we just started working.
Voila.
So in his case, it's okay, so of course contractors have peak seasons. So this time of year things are a little slow and he actually out doing something differently, right? So in I'm not gonna lock somebody into a contract. So it's just basically based on your needs. So I do things like a weekly package, a monthly package,
Okay.
right? So
Right.
it's not going to
So we
be
chat about those
yeah,
things.
yes.
Yeah.
It's not going to be well of course if you have ongoing needs, you might want to go with a monthly package as opposed to a weekly package, that kind of thing. Sometimes two people may just have a specific task they want to get done. And why not? At this point in building the business, you're not going to turn away anybody per se. So if you just want me to probably fulfill a specific task, I'm willing to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was so nice having Zakiya Halls here with me, Mrs. Halls, right? On the Learn Spanish Conmigo TT channel. We thank you so much for your patience up to this point. We were chatting like all of the pace, but we hope that you had fun and you're still with us to the end of this
Yes.
video. So we hope you subscribe. Do you have
I
socials as that?
don't, but
Okay.
yeah,
So if it is
working
you
on it.
get
It's not that
before
hard,
I
but
post this video, then I guess I can add it in the description.
sure.
Right? So bye.
Okay.